Hello, physics students. It's Dr. Schultz here, and I'm going to take a little bit of time to talk with you about the Physics Fine Arts Project 2017. If you have not done so already, please go to the Google Classroom page for your teacher, and you will find this document is on today's post, and you're welcome to open it up and follow along as we go through it. It's actually a spreadsheet. Do you love music? Do you play an instrument? If you can answer yes to at least one of these questions, then this project is going to give you a great opportunity to collaborate with your peers and to discover how physics relates to an instrument of your choosing. You will not only be researching this instrument, but you're also going to have a chance to analyze the sound it produces. Okay, so this project, guys, is going to be about picking an instrument that you're interested in and really getting into the physics of it and understanding how it makes sound, how it works, how it amplifies that sound, and what kind of cool physics would be happening to give it the sound, its own unique sound that it has. So this is a research project, and it's also going to be a little bit of a lab project because you're going to be doing some actual experimental measurements also on an instrument. So some of the big overarching learning targets that Mr. Foley and I have for you are the following. First of all, we want you to conduct research into the production of sound in a musical instrument. We want you to collect and analyze data on the sound frequencies produced by that instrument. And we want you to create an engaging and informative and relevant presentation relating to the production of sound in your instrument. So these are kind of the big picture learning targets. You guys are going to be coming up with your own specific learning targets for your instrument. But these three are going to apply pretty much to all the groups. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of the details here. The instrument itself, okay? It is not necessary that you or anybody else in your team actually plays the instrument that you select. But you're going to need to at least know someone who does. And the reason that that's true is because you're going to have to, at some point, bring the instrument in and have somebody play at least 4 notes on the instrument at school. So that might limit you somewhat. You don't want to pick an instrument that you don't know anyone who plays it or anyone who has it. So you're going to have to pick something where you've got some connection to somebody, where you know they could bring it in and play it. But you yourself don't have to play it. Okay. Also, if you are a musician, and you do play an instrument, you don't have to pick that instrument to do the presentation on. So, you might want to stretch a little bit and learn about something different, and that is totally okay. Okay, so it's kind of wide open, except you are going to have to pick an instrument that you have some connection to. After this presentation is over, you'll find another spreadsheet that has a list of student musicians here, and you might take a look at that list to make sure that there's somebody at Maine East that plays the instrument that you want. Okay, so more on that later. Some other details about the project. Basically, your group is going to make a slide presentation. It has to be in Google Slides format. You're going to share it with the teacher, and you will use that Google Slides presentation to present your findings to the class, the week that the presentations are due. Okay, so it has to be Google Slides, and it's going to have to cover kind of certain different topics. The idea of this project, guys, is not to make it something which is a ginormous load of work on you, but it's meant to be something that you find out some interesting stuff and you share it with everybody else. Okay, so that's really what we're after here. The team sizes, there are 2 people minimum and 3 people maximum. So you may not work by yourself, and you may not work with more than 2 other people. Okay, there are no exceptions to that. Also, the teams must be formed of students within the same class period. Okay, so after this presentation is over, you're going to have to figure that out. Okay, and you may not have one person alone. You may not have more than 3. Please keep that in mind so that you know how to get going today. You should pick people on your team, who you can work with, who are responsible. They don't have to be musicians, but it might help if one of them played an instrument. But it's really kind of up to you. You don't have to have someone who plays an instrument. Okay, so more on that later. For the grading on this project, your team is going to receive a shared summative grade, which will count as part of your unit grade. And that's going to include the slide presentation and your oral presentation that you give. Okay, so there's a rubric for that, and I'll go through that in just a minute. The deadline for the project is going to be Monday, April 3rd. That is not the Monday that you come back from spring break, but it's the Monday after. So that gives you 1 week of class time or outside of class time to do what you need to do. Okay, we're not going to use a lot of class time for this project. There might be one day that we use for collecting some data, but for the most part, we're not going to use class time. So you're going to have to factor in class time probably the week after break. For resources, we've got plenty of them. I've already mentioned that you've got people in your class who may play instruments. You'll see a listing very soon of who plays what. Also, we've got Mrs. Georgievic, Mrs. Holt, Mr. Boyle, who have all participated in this project before. They're very happy to help students out. You could pick any Maine East student musician, that would be fine. And of course, you have your lovely and talented physics teachers that you can ask for help too. So you have a lot of resources that you can use. Okay, so that's kind of a project overview. I'm going to come back to you in just a second in a different video, and I'm going to go through page 2 of this document, which is the rubric that Mr. Foley and I are going to use, and that kind of spells out exactly what we're looking for. Okay, so we'll see you really soon.